What's up, fight fans? In today's video,
UFC 314, April 12th in Miami, Florida.
the MMA world isn't happy with Dana White's decision at UFC 313. Alex Pereira seems to have a smart, no-lose strategy heading into his fight against Magomed Ankalaev. However, instead of being deep in training camp, Pereira has been spotted enjoying life and handing out Rolex watches on the streets of New York City.
Free Rolex.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
In another corner of the UFC universe, Alexander Volkanovski has named Ilya Topuria as the biggest threat to Islam Makhachev. However, many disagree with him. So without further ado, let's get started. With just under 10 days left until UFC 313, Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev are entering the final stages of their preparation for their highly anticipated fight. Both fighters are likely fine-tuning their strategies and conditioning for what promises to be an exciting matchup. However, Pereira has come up with a clever, no-lose strategy to control the narrative in his favor, no matter how the fight ends. And here's why. Magomed Ankalaev and his team arrived in Las Vegas back in early February to fully adjust to the environment and focus on the fight. It's clear that Ankalaev is all in and ready for this title bout. Everything seems to be on track for him. On the other hand, Pereira's preparation has left a lot of fans scratching their heads. For starters, the fight was only officially announced at the end of January, giving Pereira just 7 weeks to prepare. That's not a lot of time, especially when you're up against someone like Ankalaev, who's likely to rely heavily on wrestling. We've seen Pereira struggle with wrestlers before. Jan Blachowicz gave him trouble, and even non-wrestlers like Israel Adesanya have exposed some of his weaknesses. If Pereira spends 25 minutes on his back against Ankalaev, it's not going to end well for him. Sure, fans might not love a wrestling-heavy win for Ankalaev, but at the end of the fight, all that matters is whose hand gets raised. And right now, it seems like Pereira might be more focused on enjoying life than training. He's been spotted handing out free Rolexes on the streets of New York, which has some people wondering if he's taking this fight seriously enough. But think about this. If Alex Pereira loses this fight, critics will immediately say, Pereira wasn't prepared at all, so of course he lost to Ankalaev. But if he wins, people will claim, Pereira wasn't even fully prepared, and he still destroyed Ankalaev. Either way, it's a smart strategy for Pereira to set up the narrative in his favor, no matter the outcome. Could Ankalaev be the one to bring Pereira back to reality and remind him to focus on the gym? We'll find out soon. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below.
Pra agradar a galera, os fãs, todo mundo que acompanha aí nosso trabalho, né? Pô, a gente tem que fazer alguma coisa, deixar as pessoas mais felizes. Isso aqui eu tenho certeza que vai deixar. Se alguém chega com um presente assim pra mim, porra, velho, não fica como? Boludo.
Thank you, bro. For you or for her? For her. That's it. That's the right answer. Open that and enjoy.
I just fucking walk all the way over here for you.
Yeah, that's why I give to you. I know you just ran over here. I didn't fucking know. Brother, hey, you got a historic photo, us three. Hell yeah.
Next 10 seconds, I want to see all this, bro. Like a bro. Go, bro. Get it. Don't stop. Nice, get it. Nice. Chama.
Não, tá fazendo agora.
Me boxing? Chama or no chama?
Chama, my brother.
Chama?
Yeah.
Grappling? Chama.
Chama, yeah. Chama.
When Ilya Topuria announced his move to lightweight, many expected a showdown between him and Makhachev at International Fight Week. However, the UFC has yet to announce the fight, and now it's becoming clear why. Jack Della Maddalena could be the key to Islam's future plans. If Maddalena defeats Muhammad at UFC 315 on May 10th, the welterweight title picture could open up for Makhachev.
Right now, what is even happening at lightweight? You know, does Islam, because Islam, we know Islam wants to move up. Then you've got the Bilal situation. You know what? Jack Della wins that fight. Islam's moving up. Let's be real. Islam's
Topuria as the biggest threat to knocking out Makhachev. However, many disagree with him. In his interview with Ariel Helwani, Volkanovski said,
the thing is with Ilya, he is a dangerous fighter and he can catch anyone. You know, if he goes there and he's stoic and he's, you know, even if the fight's not going his way, he will not eventually get it, but he's going to keep trying to find it. You know, them later rounds are going to get harder for him, but, you know, if he was to land, he could definitely knock him out. I think that's going to be hard to do. I think, Islam's a pretty safe fighter. I think the scrambling stuff, even if Ilya's takedown defense is solid, I still think them exchanges are going to be better off for Islam. But you mean you can't count Ilya's power out. You know, them hands. You know, he's going to be looking for that shot. Them early rounds, he's going to be very dangerous.
So, what do you think about Volkanovski's statement? Write your thoughts in the comments, and let's move on. The MMA world isn't happy with Dana White's decision at UFC 313.
This is when all the good shit goes down, when I'm at the Ultimate Fighter. Some of you already know, but the new co-main event for March 8th, UFC 313 here in Las Vegas, is going to be Gaethje versus Fiziev. Gaethje, I don't know how much I got to sell Gaethje to you. 13 performance bonuses in 13 fights. 20 of his 25 wins are by knockout. And Fiziev, in his last fight, was cut short due to an unfortunate knee injury. But prior to that, Fiziev had 6 straight performance.
Many fans immediately reacted to Dana White's statement, and the user XKingUFC commented under the video, "Nobody cares to see Fiziev. Dana, come on." David Asher wrote, "How about Justin versus Silva and Fiziev can murder Bryce?" Another fan named Lucas added, "Weak fight is a co-main event. 313 is mid as hell now. Guess Pereira will have to save another event." But another fan questioned, "Why are people hating on Fiziev? He's like Gaethje 2.0, but slightly worse because he lost to him." I agree with that last point. Why are people so against this fight? I think it's going to be a great matchup. Both fighters are in a must-win situation, and they'll definitely bring everything they've got to secure the victory. This decision raised questions, as contenders like Tsarukyan and Max Holloway were available. According to Justin Gaethje, multiple fighters, including Oliveira, Moicano, Poirier, Holloway, and Tsarukyan, turned down the fight on short notice.
Fiziev, I never heard Gamrot. I think, the UFC trying to make a replacement for Dan Hooker, they never considered Gamrot. That's a very different fight, different night. But I think for me, off the top of the list was Oliveira and Tsarukyan, because those are the guys that are ranked ahead of me, the number 1, number 2 contenders, and they're the guys that if I get a win over them, I get to go exactly where I want to go, and that's fight Makhachev. Moicano said he would fight, and then after that, being that I'm getting ready for a fight, I have to say yes to anybody, and this being me being the number 3 guy in the world, it's a big business, and I had to really rely on my coach and my manager to make that decision for me.
However, Tsarukyan tells a different story. He claims he accepted the fight immediately, but requested a 160-pound catch weight since it was just 11 days before weigh-ins. The UFC reportedly denied this option. Tsarukyan also insists that his back issues are resolved after working with a specialist, and he's ready to return, with his ultimate goal still being the UFC title. Eye pokes have long been a controversial issue in the UFC, often changing the course of fights more than head kicks or submissions. After the fight, Henry Cejudo called out referee Jason Herzog, blaming his loss at UFC Seattle on the eye poke.
Oh, Jason Herzog? Yo, what's up, Jason?
Sorry, man. Sorry, no problem.
1, you didn't take a point, and then 2, when I took the 5-minute break, and we ended up coming back to actually fight, I still wasn't recovered, but that dude still came here, and you didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, I couldn't see, or at least I saw four arms, but you never warned him, or you never took away a point, dude.
I'll give you my perspective in a moment, and then just so you hear it.
He pokes Henry Cejudo in the eye as Henry Cejudo is throwing a 2 to the body, and those things go in there like he was trying to impregnate Henry Cejudo with them eyes. If Henry's eyeballs were vagina and Song's fingers were a penis, Henry would be pregnant right now.
On the other hand, Song Yadong responded to the criticism he's been getting, standing by what happened during the match.
People are talking this a lot because this is bad. So UFC they said the referee need like take my points like that, you know. And I think that was bullshit, you know. Like epoch happened every fight, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you know why people focus this, because Henry out, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want they can't. He don't fight. I don't want to continue fighting. That's why people are talking this.
Yeah.
You know, this just the normal like Apple. No, I'm not like often attack with my finger. I'm go back and the defense, and that was totally accident. You know.
Yeah.
That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. We'd be very grateful.